So it's been 1 year since I dropped out of university to pursue trading full time. And in this video, I'm going to talk to you about everything I've learned in that year, the progress that I've made, any lessons you guys can learn from it, any advice I would give to you if you're considering doing the same thing, and how it's been completely different to what I ever expected. So let's get into it. So first things first, in terms of my trading, I look back a year ago when I dropped out of university, and I am amazed that I had the confidence to drop out of university knowing how little I knew about trading. Because in the past year, I have learned so much more about trading and how to actually be a professional, profitable trader. I've learned so many new technicals, so much more about my mindset, so much more about the charts and the fundamentals than I ever could have imagined. I thought I already knew a lot when I first dropped out, and it turns out I actually was kind of just scratching the surface of what I knew. And in the past year, I've been able to dive into loads and loads of resources and learn so much more about the markets. And so that's had a huge impact on my trading, and I have a much better process. I am highly accurate now in my bias. My entries are still catching up, but my bias is highly accurate compared to a year ago, where I was purely just trading trends, right? So number one is I learned way more than I thought I would have learned. Like, I really didn't expect to have uncovered all the things that I've learned this year and really developed my trading so much. I thought I was already nearly there. Another thing that I want to go over is how dropping out of university and making trading your full-time gig is actually a crazy mindset shift. Because when you first drop out, all the pressure is on. All of the pressure is on, especially if you have people that are putting pressure on you. And luckily for me, I didn't really have that. My parents have been very easygoing about me just pursuing this as my goal, because they know I'm serious. I've proved to them I'm serious. I wake up early. I wake up really early. I put in the hours, and to them, they know that I'm serious. I'm not just lounging around doing nothing. But if you have people that are putting external pressure on you, it's going to be really difficult, because all of a sudden it's your main thing. It's how you're going to make money for the rest of your life. It's your career, and all the pressure will be on it to actually get results and achieve results. And it will actually not be good for you, right? It's going to really hinder your trading, especially if you've not shown consistent results yet. It's going to put a spanner in the works for you, as it did for me, because all of a sudden the pressure's on. You start making decisions you won't typically make. You feel like you need to be doing more than you should be doing. Or every winner and every loser becomes way more amplified, because it's like your only thing that you have going for you. All of a sudden the pressure is on. The results mean more, and it's actually going to be really bad for you psychologically if you quit everything and go all in, right? Because I did it. That's exactly what I did. I don't have a job. I dropped out of uni to do this full time before I had many results to show for it. And in the first couple of months, I really had to just then tame my psychology. It was actually more like coming back to the basics, like stop putting so much pressure on yourself, because it's affecting your decision making. You're taking shit trades because you think that you need to be trading all the time, or have a trade at least every other day, rather than being able to have the ability to just be patient and sit back and wait. You have that pressure to feel like you need results. And that obviously is the worst thing you can have for your trading. You don't want pressure on your trading at all. You want to be able to make optimal decisions without any overwhelming emotions or anything outside of just trading effectively. You don't want to be influenced by anything other than just trading the best that you can. And so that is a huge thing that you need to be aware of if you're going to drop out of uni or quit everything you're doing to pursue trading full time, is that all of a sudden the pressure will be on. You'll feel the pressure regardless of whether you're profitable or not, because now it's your full-time thing and this is how you're going to make money. So there's two things. One, I would either suggest that you have a job, or two, I would suggest that you continue to do what you're doing until you have consistent results for yourself. Otherwise, the pressure will be on and it will slow down your journey, because you'll have to then deal with that emotional turmoil that will come along with it. Number three is that you just have to learn to submit to the process of time. Just because you drop out of uni or or quit your job, it doesn't mean that all of a sudden you're going to see results. You still need to turn up and put in the effort, put in the hours, put in the work every single day. It doesn't just happen because all of a sudden it's your full-time thing. You still need to turn up and put the effort in and continue to learn as a trader and submit to time. Don't expect results just because you dropped out. And you really need to develop your patience, because in reality, trading is most of the time you're waiting around for a great opportunity. You might wait 3-4 days before you get a good opportunity, and then you might lose that trade. And so having and developing patience is really essential. Being able to just submit to time and allow the results to come in and the probabilities to play out, because it's not a hustle game trading. You have to just sit on your hands and be patient. You can't turn up every day and actually execute every day. You can obviously hustle at like reviewing your trades, journaling, backtesting. You can like hustle at that, but you also can't necessarily hustle at like backtesting, because it still requires making optimal decisions. And after a while, your decision making will go down the longer that you're actually staring at the charts, regardless of whether it's live or whether it's backtesting. So there is a certain amount of energy and time you can actually put into hustling at trading. So you will really need to learn to submit to time and to just be comfortable doing nothing most of the time. Like, you can wake up, review the charts and be like, well, there's nothing for me to trade today. So you almost need to have something else going for you to do for the rest of the day, especially if you want to feel productive and you want to feel like a hustler and you don't want to feel like you're wasting your time. You need to have something else to do, because you can only do trading related things for a couple hours a day before your brain is fried and you need something else to do. That's probably why a lot of people create social media, or they do other businesses or mentorships, because teaching people is quite fulfilling. Making YouTube videos is quite fun. And that's probably why a lot of people that are traders also are doing something else, because trading, you are literally free the majority of the time. You wake up, you spend a few hours on the computer. If there's no trade, there's no trade. If there is a trade, you take it. If it loses, then you just have to wait again until the next opportunity. And if it wins, obviously, it still feels great as always. But the majority of the time, you are simply waiting around. And so if you feel like you need to be doing something all the time to feel like you're being productive, then I would highly suggest that you don't go all in, or you have something on the side that you are doing as well. And to be honest, I thought I would have it on lock by now. Like, it's taking longer than I expect. That's a big thing. Like, obviously, it doesn't just happen. It's not an overnight thing. It's the accumulation of many hours of study and journaling and reviewing. And I genuinely believe that I am there, but I'm in the beginning stages of profitability. So it's like still slow. As I still iron out kinks and learn more about myself and my strategy, I'm only going to get more and more profitable, but it's still slow. And it took a long time to get out of the break-even stage, which was almost an entire year. And added pressure, obviously, from just going all in on trading and being in the situation where it's either this or nothing. It definitely puts a lot of unneeded pressure on you guys. But I wouldn't change it for the world, because whenever you actually do decide to go full time, you will have to go through this. But it's better to do it once you've got consistent results for yourself, so it's way easier on you psychologically. But yeah, most of the time you're going to be waiting around, and probably at the time that you're most successful at trading will be the time where you're doing the least amount of work, or you'll feel like you're doing the least amount of work. And so that's just something to keep in mind. If you feel like you're doing nothing, it's not necessarily a bad thing, but especially if you're trading. But if you want to feel like you're a productive person, you want to hustle and do all that, then it's going to be difficult for you. But yeah, as I was saying, I definitely thought I'd have it unlocked by now. And the fact that there is no place for me to want to get away from necessarily. I mean, I don't mind being at home, but my goals are what I strive towards. But there's two types of goals, right? One that you want to get away from, and one that you want to get towards. Like, you say you hate uni or you hate your job, you want to get away from it as much as possible. And so that puts a fire under your ass to achieve your goals quicker, right? But if you then essentially put out that fire by quitting your job or leaving uni, all of a sudden there's no fire behind your ass, especially if no one else is putting pressure on you. You have to put it on yourself. So it requires a lot of self-motivation, determination, discipline. It requires a lot of that. Otherwise, you can easily get swept up in just day-to-day average life in your hometown with your family, etc. And if there's no fire behind your ass, then it's going to be harder for you to want to achieve those goals. You have to have super strong desire to achieve whatever results you want. Say you want to move out, or you want to go and get a fucking Ferrari, or you want to move to Dubai, whatever it is. You need to have a powerful why. Otherwise, it's going to be very easy for you to give up. So you need something that you really want to get away from, or you really want to achieve, or the best combination will be both of them, right? So getting rid of the thing that you really want to get away from right now is not necessarily the best thing, because all of a sudden the fire behind you kind of disappeared, right? Because all of a sudden I don't want to get away from uni. I used to hate being at uni. I just didn't like it at all. And so I really wanted to get away from that. But now obviously I'm at home. It's nothing necessarily I want to get away from. So my desire for the life I want to live is the thing that's motivating me the most. But it's good to have something pushing you as well. Another thing I know now a year later is the difference between whether I am the one that is making a shit decision or trading emotionally, or whether it's my strategy or my style of trading, right? Because I really understand my edge, my strategy a lot more now. And so I can determine the difference between whether it was me who fucked up or whether it was my strategy. Before, every time I took a loss, I would say, I'd find a way to blame myself, right? But after a year of just fully focused on the strategy and my own trading and learning, I know the difference between whether it was me or whether it was simply just the strategy failing to play out, which is something that you need to learn to differentiate, because then you can hone in on what you need to actually improve. Is it your edge or is it your emotions? And talking about emotions, another thing that I learned is that to be a successful trader, you really need to remain at an emotional equilibrium, right? You're never too excited after a win, never too sad after a loss. You never berate yourself after a loss, and you never get too overconfident after a win. Remaining at a steady equilibrium as a trader is how you are profitable, and you keep making the best decisions, right? Because if you only ever sway a little bit from equilibrium, then your decision making is still going to stay optimal. But if you start getting really excited, or you start berating yourself a lot for taking some losses, that's going to sway your decision making and your emotions on the charts, and it's going to cause you to make decisions that are going to basically cause you to fail at trading, because you're going to start taking trades that you shouldn't take or you wouldn't usually take because you're being influenced by your emotions. So I've learned that to be the best trader you can, you must remain at emotional equilibrium the best you can. And that's not to say that you don't feel the emotions, you just don't react to them, right? You still get excited after a win, and you still get annoyed after a loss, but you just don't react to them in the same way that you would if you're like a beginner trader. And so, to summarize, a year later, I am much more confident in myself. I know I have the discipline to do the things I need to do to achieve my goals. I've proven it to myself. Whereas when you're at uni, or when you're in a job, you never fully know if you're capable of achieving what you want to achieve until it's all on you to achieve that. So I learned that I can do everything I need to do to achieve the goals, and I won't let myself down. Number one. And number two is I'm a lot more comfortable trading with my edge, being patient, understanding that trading is not about being right all the time. It's not about taking trades all the time. It's more about waiting for the optimal setup and just executing when you have high conviction and there's a high probability that you're right, and then just allowing the probabilities to play out. It's not about taking a trade every day and winning all the time. It's more about just being patient and executing when the probabilities are high and in your favor, and the rest of the time just kind of relaxing, waiting back, and not forcing anything. There is nothing to trade unless there is obviously something to trade, right? So that's the way you have to look at it. You only ever trade when there's something there. Otherwise, if there's nothing there, you don't force it. But if you're anything like me, you feel like you need to be doing something all the time, or you feel like you need to be learning and you can't just sit at a computer for a couple of hours and then feel fulfilled or like you've achieved something, I would suggest that you either stick at your job, you keep doing what you're doing, or you have something going on the side. Like I have some other small businesses or small ventures, should I say, like this channel. And I also like to read a lot, and I always like learn, constantly learning, constantly trying to develop as a person, right? I go to the gym every day, and that's a big thing for me to improve at. So you need to have other things in your life going for you that you can get some fulfillment from, just so that when you go full time, it's not the only thing you have. Because all of a sudden, if that's the only thing you have to do, you're going to do it all the time, and you're going to start making mistakes. So you need to have something else to do in your time, for sure. But yeah, to summarize once again, although I thought I would be there by now, I am way more understanding of the process of just submitting to time, submitting to trying to improve, and turning up every day, and then allowing the results to just come whenever they come. As long as I'm trying to improve and do my best every single day, rather than me trying to force the outcome, right? And that's what you have to learn if you are going to go full time, or even if you're just going to go on this journey, you have to just submit to time and just do the work necessary to get the results. Otherwise, it's not going to happen. And don't try to force it, just try and get better every single day. So I think we'll leave it on that note there. So as always, guys, join the Telegram. I'm starting to do some live streams in there on Twitch, where I do weekly outlooks or review charts you want me to review, or just have a conversation with me and we can just chat and chill. I really enjoy doing them. So I announced them in my Telegram. I also just talk to you guys a lot in the Telegram as well. So if you want a more direct connection to me and you want to kind of join a community of other traders, join the Telegram. That is where all the real ones are at. So thank you very much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.